Hello and welcome to this Gttv News Bulletin. My name is Aissatou Koli. Our top stories this evening. To raise awareness about breast cancer, the Gambia Defense and Security, in partnership with economic forces, launched an awareness campaign in Niamey over the weekend. The campaign featured educational workshops, free screening, and community outreach programs aimed at informing residents about the importance of early detection and prevention. Gambian World War II veterans have expressed frustration regarding the disbursement of funds intended for them and their families. Many veterans have reported delays and insufficient support, prompting them to bring their concerns to Parliament, where they are calling for urgent action and accountability from the government. In sports, the Gambia senior football team secured a vital win against Madagascar in the AFCON qualifiers, climbing to 5 points after 3 games. This victory has renewed hopes for the team as they strive for a place in the tournament, following a challenging start with only 2 points from their first 2 games. In internationals, U.S. presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are actively engaging Black and Latino voters in their campaigns. Both candidates are addressing key issues for these communities, including economic opportunities, healthcare access, and criminal justice reforms, as they seek to broaden their support ahead of the upcoming elections. Those are our top stories. Stay tuned for more news after this short commercial break. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Gttv News Bulletin, and I am Aissatou Koli. The Gambia Defense and Security, in partnership with economic and other security services, marked this year's Pink October Day with a community event aimed at raising awareness about breast cancer. The celebration began with a march from their base to the hospital in Esau, North Bank region, showcasing a united efforts in the fight against this critical health issue. More on this report. In a significant event to raise awareness about breast cancer, the Gambia Defense and Security, alongside economic and various security services, marked this year's Pink October Day. The celebrations commenced at their base and culminated at the hospital in Esau, North Bank region, emphasizing the collective commitment to combating this critical health issue. The event kicked off with a vibrant march featuring participants in bright pink attire, symbolizing solidarity and hope. Banners and placards display messages advocating for awareness and early detection. Breast cancer continues to pose a serious global health challenge. In 2022 alone, over 2.3 million women were diagnosed, and tragically, 670,000 lives were lost to the disease worldwide. While it can affect women of all ages, post-puberty, studies show that the incidence tends to rise significantly with age. Major Holman, head of the organizing committee, addressed attendees with passion, stating, "Pink October is not just a month, it's a movement to educate and empower individuals about breast cancer. Early detection can save lives."
It will also help prevent the death rate. As at 2022, it was around 670,000 worldwide, which is very huge. So our duty was to help reduce breast cancer and its spread in the Gambia, and that is why we took this initiative.
In a heartfelt appeal, Captain Crystal Koneidu Odimme, the admin officer for the Economic Ghana Company in Bara, urge community members to take proactive steps towards their health. We urge everyone to come forward for examinations. Our doors are always open and we are here to support you, she said.
Wants to examine, our doors are always open. We have a company aid post where the medical doctor is stationed. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, the medical doctor comes to Isao District Hospital. So whoever wants to do a breast screening, even after this day, immediately you come to either the camp or the hospital. The doctor will be willing to assist.
Lieutenant Colonel Mariama Gomez from the Gambia Armed Forces expressed gratitude for the partnership with the Ghanaian Economic Detachment. She emphasized the importance of screening, particularly for women and men in uniform, stating, "It's crucial that we lead by example. Knowledge is power, and early detection can make all the difference."
For us, the Gambians, we don't tend to be like going in for tests to know your health status. It's very important for one to know his or her status, health status. They think that it's only the military or the police or the fire service people in general should know their health status. But I think it's everybody, each and individual's responsibility to know your health status. Cancer, though, this month is the month of cancer. October, the whole of October is cancer, which they call as Pink October, because pink is taken to be a bright color for ladies. And most of the time, we ladies are affected with this cancer. Though men have cancer, but it's very minimal. We are the people who are suffering from cancer. Nowadays, we have a lot of cancer, breast cancer problems, which is killing our women. So this one is a like milestone, and we are very happy to be with the community.
The event also featured educational booths offering information on breast cancer, its symptoms, and importance of regular checkups. Participants engaged in discussions, and health professionals were on hand to provide guidance. Community members share personal stories highlighting the emotional impact of breast cancer and the importance of support networks. It is vital for us to come together, share our experience, and uplift one another in this fight, one participant remarked. Events like this are crucial in raising awareness, fostering education, and building a sense of community in the ongoing battle against breast cancer. By prioritizing early detection and support, we can work together to combat this disease and save lives. Reporting for Gttv News, Aisha Tukuli. This year marks the 79th anniversary of the end of World War II, a pivotal moment in the quest for global peace and stability. In commemoration of this significant milestone, a group of Gambian World War II veterans have taken a stand, presenting their concerns to lawmakers. They are advocating for a greater transparency in the disbursement of welfare grants promised by the British government to Commonwealth veterans. These grants, intended to honor the sacrifice made during the war, have not been distributed equitably, leaving many veterans feeling neglected and undervalued. The veterans' plea highlights the broader issues of support for those who served, emphasizing the need for accountability and fairness in managing those funds. Our reporter Yaya Sedi brings us an insights into the veterans' struggle and their quest for justice.
Members of the Gambia World War II Veterans Association have come together to advocate for the recognition and support of veterans and their families. Their primary aim is to raise awareness about the legacy of these veterans and address the ongoing plight they face, particularly in terms of fair compensation and reparations. The association recently voiced serious concerns regarding the lack of transparency in the allocation and distribution of Royal Commonwealth welfare grants. These grants are intended to provide essential support to the veterans and their families, but the members believe that the process surrounding them is shrouded in ambiguity. Alpha Omar Jallo, the public relations officer of the association, provided an overview of the situation. He pointed out that the British government and its citizens have committed approximately £1.8 million over the years to assist World War II veterans and their families, especially widows. The support spans across 48 countries, including the Gambia, reflecting a long-standing commitment to honoring those who served. During the meeting with parliamentarians, Jallo elaborated on the association's funding. He revealed that the Royal Commonwealth Ex-Service League, in conjunction with the Gambia Legion, is tasked with managing these funds. However, they have failed to adequately reach out to those eligible beneficiaries, which has led to frustration within the veterans community. Jallo clarified who qualifies as eligible beneficiaries: veterans who served the British Crown prior to their country's independence, as well as one surviving eligible widow of each deceased veteran. This specification is crucial, as many families have been left without the support they were promised. Jallo also detailed the association's persistent effort to address this issue. On several occasions, they have formally requested intervention from the British High Commission and Veterans Affairs Office, seeking assistance to improve transparency in the allocation of funds. Despite these efforts, the association continues to face challenges in ensuring that the intended support reaches those who truly need it. The members of the association remain resolute in their mission to secure justice for their fellow veterans and to ensure that their sacrifices are recognized and compensated. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Yaya Sedi.
In recent weeks, the residents of Banyaka village have taken a stand against ongoing injustice they face from local drivers. Frustrated by repeated instances of passengers being dropped off at incorrect locations, the villagers organized a protest to draw attention to their plight. This demonstration reflects a broader struggle for dignity and respect within the community as villagers seek to address issues that have persisted for years. In a subsequent press conference, village leaders elaborated on the impact of these injustices, emphasizing the urgent need for change. Raymond Isaac Diouf tells us more.
Villagers in Banyaka recently protested against what they describe as injustice committed by some drivers who drop off passengers at incorrect locations. This issue has persisted for an extended period, prompting residents to express their anger and frustration. Following the protest, the villagers held a press conference to discuss the matter in detail. Pasini Kamara, the village alcalo, highlighted the trauma experienced by both villagers and passengers due to deliberate actions of the drivers. He noted that the situation has been ongoing since 2019, despite their efforts to resolve it peacefully. The drivers refused to reach their intended destinations at Kunkuja Mariama garage, opting instead to stop at the Banyaka market. Almamo Toure, Secretary General of the Banyaka Village Development Committee, emphasized that while they have adhered to the laws of the country, the authorities have failed to ensure peace within the village. Since his election in 2019, he and the committee, in collaboration with the Mahmuda Committee, have worked to secure water availability for the village. The drivers are supposed to operate from Tipagare to Kunkuja Mariama, yet they often stop at a location known as the container. This ongoing struggle has prompted them to contact the transport union and the police, but responses have been inadequate. Furthermore, passengers pay a full fare of $30 is intended for Kunkuja Mariama, yet drivers avoid the route, claiming it is unsuitable for transportation while using it at night to seek passengers. The village youth have rallied in solidarity to address these irregularities, but authorities remain silent. Reporting for Gambian Talents TV, I am Raymond Isaac Diouf.
Well, from that story, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, sports is up next. Stay tuned. In a thrilling encounter, the Gambia narrowly defeated Madagascar in their quest to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations. The match showcased intense competition with both teams striving for crucial points. With this victory, the Scorpions have now amassed 5 points after 4 matches, placing them in a more favorable position in the group standings. The win highlights the Gambia's determination and resilience as they aim for their first appearance in the tournament since 2021. Meanwhile, Madagascar will look to regroup as they continue their campaign, hoping to secure a spot in the prestigious tournament. Yaya Sedi reports.
The Scorpions pulled off a convincing victory against the Braves of Madagascar, showcasing their determination and skills on the pitch. The match took place in a lively atmosphere with fans from both sides creating an electric environment. Musa Barrow was undoubtedly the standout player, demonstrating resilience after his earlier miss from the penalty spot. In the 64th minute, he found himself in the right position, connecting beautifully with the cross to volley the ball past the Breeze goalkeeper, sending the crowd into a frenzy. This goal not only broke the deadlock, but also highlights Barrow's ability to bounce back under pressure. Throughout the match, the Scorpions displayed a solid defensive performance, with key players stepping up to thwart the Breeze attacking effort. Their midfield was dynamic, controlling the pace of the game and creating several chances to extend their lead. This victory is crucial for the Scorpions as they aim to secure their spot in the upcoming AFCON 2026 in Morocco. With more matches on the horizon, the team will need to build on their momentum, refining their tactics and ensuring they remain competitive in the qualifying rounds. Fans are hopeful that with performances like this, Scorpions will be a force to reckon within the tournament. As the match drew to close, the Scorpions maintained their composure, showcasing their ability to manage the game and secure the victory. This win is vital for their aspiration to qualify for the AFCON 2026 tournament in Morocco. With a series of upcoming qualifiers, the team will look to build on this performance, turning their strategies and ensuring they remain competitive in the group. The fans are optimistic, believing that with consistent performances like this, the Scorpions can become a formidable force in African football, potentially making a significant impact in the upcoming tournament. The road ahead is challenging, but the team's spirit and talent shine through, offering hope for a successful qualification campaign. Reporting for Gttv Sport News, I am Yaya Sedi.
Well, we wish the Scorpions the very best of luck. From that story by our sports reporter, Yaya Sedi, will lead us to our second break. When we come back, Internationals, it's up next. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In case you're just tuning in, you've been reminded us this is Gttv News. Now to internationals. As the U.S. presidential election approaches, Vice President Kamala Harris is ramping up her efforts to engage Black and Latino voters, despite a solid lead among these groups. Some Democrats are urging her to increase efforts to energize turnout for November. Recent polls showed that Harris' Republican opponent, Donald Trump, is gaining traction with Black and Latino voters continuing trends from 2016 and 2020. A New York Times and other polls indicate that Harris has 78% support among Black voters, down from the typical 90% support for Democrats in the past elections. With a significant drop among Black men, this trend raises concerns about its potential impact on the election. In response, Harris' campaign team is prioritizing targeted initiatives to enhance engagement and drive turnout among these crucial demographics. Modula Mijop reports.
This could prove crucial in a race poised to be decided by razor-thin margins. Even if polling proves inaccurate, modest gains among Black and Latino voters in key battleground states could ultimately sway the outcome. In Arizona, nearly 1 in 4 voters expected to cast ballots on November 5th will be Latino, with almost 20% in nearby Nevada. In another crucial state, Georgia, Black voters make up about 30% of the electorate. What might be driven Trump's apparent gain among these voters? For many, the economy, especially inflation and the cost of living, remains the primary concern. A significant majority of both Black and Latino voters are dissatisfied with the current state of the American economy. Quentin Jordan, a 30-year-old Virginia resident who once voted for Barack Obama but has supported Trump since he first entered the national political scene in 2016, emphasizes that inflation has made it extremely challenging for people to provide basic necessities for their families. The pressure from the rising cost of goods makes it harder for many. In Popul, Nevada, which has a large Latino population, many Latinos remember the economy under Trump. Economic concerns have diminished the stigma around supporting the former president, as affordability has become a critical issue. Even voters leaning toward Harris acknowledge that pocketbook issues have swayed opinions in their communities. Many individuals are switching their votes, believing that Trump has the tools to lift them economically, even if they wouldn't socialize with him. Echoing broader U.S. sentiment, both Black and Latino voters have expressed concern about immigration and the Biden administration's handling of the U.S.-Mexico border. Strong border controls and a commitment to deport millions of undocumented migrants are central to Trump's campaign platform. His message resonates with some Black and Latino voters who perceived the border situation as chaotic and dangerous under Biden and Harris. Rolando Rodriguez, a Trump supporter and former Democrat from Texas, reflects on the impact of record migrant crossings in recent years, despite a decrease this year. Living close to the border, he has witnessed what he considered a disaster under the current administration. Similarly, Jordan believes that asylum seekers and other foreign nationals are taking resources that the Black community has been seeking for decades. Trump has addressed this concern, describing an invasion of undocumented migrants as having a significant negative impact on Black and Latino communities. Political science professor Quadrisco Dariscal notes that Black male voters in particular have distanced themselves from what some perceive as a democratic embrace of social agendas contrary to their views. There is a perception of an assault on masculinity and its implications. It is not necessarily the party itself. It is more about the voters within the party and the language surrounding human sexuality and gender. This assessment resonates with Clarence Paulin, a Black voter from South Carolina. A barbershop owner and a former police officer, he believes the Republican Party's views align more closely with his religious values on gender and sexuality. He argues that Democrats cannot create their own agenda and should lead the country in the right way. As Trump engaged Black and Latino voters at a town hall event in Pennsylvania, Harris ramped up her efforts by releasing a list of policy proposals termed an opportunity agenda for Black men. She plans to meet with Black entrepreneurs in key swing states and speak with popular media figures at an event in Detroit. In response to recent polling, Trump remarked that his poll numbers have significantly increased with Black and Hispanic voters, expressing his satisfaction with this trend. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Modlamin Job.
The UN has condemned the large number of civilian casualties caused by Israeli strikes on northern Gaza in recent days. The comments made by a spokesperson for Secretary General Antonio Guterres came as at least 10 people have reportedly been killed by Israeli artillery fire at a food distribution center in the Jabalia refugee camp, where Israeli tanks and troops are continuing a ground offensive. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees reported that shells hit inside and out the center on Monday morning as some hungry people were attempting to collect food handouts. The Israeli military stated that it is reviewing the incident, adding that it operates only against terror attacks. Modula Mijob again.
Hundreds of people have been reported to have been killed since the military announced its offensive in the area and two neighboring northern towns 9 days ago to root out Hamas fighters who had regrouped there. The UN stated on Sunday that more than 50,000 people had fled casualties in the intensifying Israeli campaign in northern Gaza, which has impacted schools and displaced sheltered Palestinian civilians. The offensive has also forced the closure of water wells, including malnutrition treatment. The UN reported that it has not been allowed to deliver essential supplies, including food, since October 1st, with two nearby border crossings closed and no deliveries permitted from the south. The Israeli military said a convoy of 38 lorries entered through a crossing south of Gaza City on Sunday, coinciding with US President Joe Biden telling Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about the imperative to restore access to the north. The military has ordered residents of Jabalia and neighboring areas to evacuate to the Israeli designated humanitarian area in southern Gaza, stating it is operating with great force against terrorist organizations and will continue to do so for a long time. However, many of the estimated 400,000 Palestinians living in the north are reluctant to flee south, fearing they will not be allowed to return home. They believe the Israeli military is planning to implement a strategy proposed by retired Israeli generals to completely empty the north of civilians and besiege any Hamas fighters remaining there until they release Israeli hostages held since Hamas' October 7, 2023 attack on Israel. The Israeli military has denied that it is implementing this plan. The spokesman, Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Sosani, stated that they are making sure they are getting civilians out of harm's way while operating against terror cells in Jabalia. Overnight, 4 people were killed when an Israeli aircraft struck a tented camp for displaced individuals next to Al-Aqsa Madrasa Hospital in the central town of Deir al-Balah. The Israeli military stated it had conducted a precise strike on terrorists who were operating inside a command and control center in the area of parking lot, taking measures to mitigate harm to civilians. Shortly after the strike, a fire ignited in the hospital's parking lot, most likely due to the secondary explosions. The incident is under review and the hospital's functionality was not affected by the strike. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Modlamin Job.
From that story by Modulamin Job brings us to the end of this news bulletin. But before we take a leave of you, here are our top stories once again. To raise awareness about breast cancer, the Gambia Defense and Security, in partnership with Economic Forces, launched an awareness campaign in Yomi over the weekend. The campaign featured educational workshops, free screening, and community outreach programs aimed at informing residents about the importance of early detection and prevention. Gambian World War II veterans have expressed frustration regarding the disbursement of funds intended for them and their families. Many veterans have reported delays and insufficient support, prompting them to bring their concerns to Parliament, where they are calling for urgent action and accountability from the government. In sports, the Gambia senior football team secured a vital win against Madagascar in the AFCON qualifiers, climbing to 5 points after 3 games. This victory has renewed hopes for the team as they strive for a place in the tournament, following a challenging start with only 2 points from their first 2 games. In internationals, U.S. presidential candidates Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are actively engaging Black and Latino voters in their campaigns. Both candidates are addressing key issues for these communities, including economic opportunities, healthcare access, and criminal justice reforms, as they seek to broaden their support ahead of the upcoming elections. Well, that's it from us in our studios. Do have a pleasant evening. It's a bye from me and the entire team. Bye-bye.